Right, if you're the sort of person that struggles to give feedback, maybe it feels a bit awkward or it feels a bit tense, or maybe you're just afraid of offending somebody or getting it wrong, or it's just not a comfortable thing for you to do, then this video is going to really help you. I'm going to share with you a bulletproof way of giving feedback so that when you do this, both people are able to leave that conversation feeling good, feeling in control and confident, but most importantly, knowing exactly what needs to happen next and when it needs to happen by. There's nothing worse than squashing someone's confidence, especially by accident. So we can use this structure to boost confidence and productivity and make it a win-win situation for everybody. The best way for me to help you with this video is if we come up with a scenario which I will use as an example. I will then run through my structure of giving feedback with you, and it will help you understand so that you can then apply it to your scenarios with your people. So the scenario that we're going to use in this example is that we've asked someone to put together a series of slides to use in a presentation. We've given them full responsibility for the creative process, but we're not quite happy with what we've received. So let's use this feedback structure and go through it one by one as an example of how you can then use this for your life. So this first point is something that's memorable. It's going to be a trigger that sets you off on the right process. So we're going to start nowhere. Easy to remember. What it means is we begin with what we know, not what we think. We don't want an opinion. That's going to be a problem. We want to keep things as objective as possible and make sure that they aren't personal. So we start with what we know, and then we start with where things are at. Know where. Using our scenario, here's how I'll use know where to set things off on the right foot. Right, so what I know is last week I asked you to put together this creative deck of slides. Here's where we are at. You've done it, you sent it over to me to have a look at, and now I'm going to explain how we can make it even better. So what I've done there is I've just set things up in a very simple way that starts us off objectively, and it is not personal. I haven't said what I think. I haven't shared an opinion. I haven't said it's good or bad or otherwise. And that's really important because those words aren't going to come into this at all. If we want to get this right, we've got to start on the right foot. We start from nowhere. When giving feedback, we want to be really clear and concise. So we've got to say explicitly what it is that the other person needs to do to make this better and to improve. So using our example, I might say something like this. This presentation needs to be more visual. There are too many words in the slides, and so we need to reduce the amount of words and increase the visual effect of this presentation. So again, I've been very objective, and they know exactly what it is that needs to change. The why part of this when giving feedback is super simple. It's where we help the other person to understand the reason why we're asking for this change. You'd be surprised at how many leaders and people in positions of giving feedback fail to do this. And it's so important because when you know the reason for something and you align with the other person and you kind of understand, oh, that's why I'm doing this, then you're more inclined to do it. There's nothing worse than feeling like you've been sent on a wild goose chase for no reason whatsoever. So here's how we empower the other person. Using our example, I might say something like this. Now, the reason why we need to remove these words and make it a little more visual is that we know that when we have visually led presentations, the attention shifts to the presenter and the audience are more likely to tune into and understand and connect with the human being presenting the presentation rather than fixating on the words and reading them along and not really paying attention to the presenter themselves. So that's the reason why we've got to make these changes. Again, I was very objective and I educated the other person. I helped them to understand why I'm asking for these changes to be made. The final part of the feedback structure is agreeing on a time frame. We know that when we make promises based on time, we're able to hold each other accountable and there's a clear understanding. So using our example, it might sound a little bit like this. So we know that this presentation needs to be done and dusted by Friday. So therefore, make the changes and let me know by end of play on Thursday so that I've got some time to go through them with you again on Friday morning. So again, I've used time, I've kept it very objective, and I've made it really clear. Once we agree, I might just want to make sure that that has absolutely landed by asking a question. I might say something like this: how possible is that? Or I might say something like, what else do you think we've missed? Just giving the other person a chance. There might be something that I've not seen. There might be a meeting that we need to go to, or something that's going to make it difficult for them to have the time to do it. So we want to make sure that we're giving the other person a chance to sort of sound it out in their own mind and just come out with anything that might get in the way. It's also useful for you to know, because you can sort of gauge their confidence levels. There might need to be some more coaching, or you might have to help them a bit more than you initially thought. It also might mean that you need to buddy them up with someone else in the team to help them deliver this project. We can't know the ins and outs of what the other person is thinking and feeling, but using this feedback structure does open the door for some very productive and healthy conversations. So thanks for watching this video. Here's what I know. You've just spent a few minutes with me watching a video on how to give feedback in an easier way. So here's where we're at. The next time you go and do it, I want you to write down this structure so that you've got it there in hand, ready to deliver this to the best of your ability. That's really important because as a leader, you owe it to the people in your team and everyone around you to give your best. And so being in a planned state with a structure is really going to help. When you go and have that conversation, you're about to give the feedback, just say to the other person, would it be okay if I refer to my notes? I just want to make sure that I'm doing this in the best way that I can to really help you. That way they'll understand. I want you to make sure that you do this the next time you give someone feedback. So think about when that might be. And when you've done it, come back to this video and let me know in the comments. I've just used the structure. Did you notice? Thank you for watching. If you like this sort of thing, then do subscribe to my channel. I make videos like this all of the time, and I want to keep helping you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.